I was on a vacation in Chicago, so my video's a bit late. Oh my, oh no. But now I'm home, so I can review this show. DuckTales, woo! Da, 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 da. Yeah, so been away for a little bit, and I kind of missed out on reviewing DuckTales. I'm sure everyone else has already put out their video, and here I am, the end of the line. Better late than never, right? So, do I need to explain DuckTales to anyone? I think some of you are 12 years old. I probably should. So, in case anyone doesn't know, DuckTales was a cartoon produced by Disney in the late 80s, and it was the first cartoon specifically intended for syndication. It didn't have a toy line in mind, although it did spawn a lot of merchandise, but that really wasn't the point of the whole thing. The show was about Scrooge McDuck, and it was about all of his crazy adventures, and it was loosely based off the comics by Carl Barks from the 40s and the 50s. And now it has a reboot, and as most people pointed out when the first concept art was released, they actually based the style off of the Carl Barks comics, which was really cool. And appropriately enough, just how the original cartoon was loosely based off the comics, this one is loosely based off the original cartoon. Mostly accurate, but there are a lot of improvements they made. For one, in the new show, Scrooge is kind of a has-been. I mean, he's still wealthy and all that, but he would always go on adventures, and then he stopped at one point. And they also gave him a little bit more of a relationship with Donald, because Donald was not really seen a whole lot in the original show. He was always out to sea, and you know, he would show up every once in a while, but mostly he was just completely out of the picture. They also established that the two of them have a very bad relationship, which I find very interesting. Probably the biggest change from the original show is Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Now, originally, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were very indistinguishable, except for, of course, the color of their clothing. That was really the only thing that was distinguishing them from each other. Effectively, they were one character. They had the same voice, the same personality, but thankfully in this one they made improvements to that. They gave them all distinct looks, distinct personality, and they're all voiced by different people. I also like what they did with Webby. Now, the original Webby apparently was very hated by a lot of people. She never really bothered me that much. She had a very, very cutesy voice, and she was very childish, and I think she was supposed to be maybe a little bit younger than the boys, so I feel like, you know, it seemed appropriate for her character, but in this one, I think they aged her up to be about the same age, and they kind of made her a bit crazy in this one. She's very eccentric. Apparently, she's a shut-in in this show. She's been living in the mansion, I guess, most of her life, and she's never been outside. And she really looks up to Scrooge, and she wants to go out and have adventures. Then, of course, there's her grandmother, Miss Beakley. Now, the original Miss Beakley was a little bit annoying. She was very cautious, she was very careful, and she always worried about everything. Whenever they went out on adventures, they're like, "Oh, boys, you better not do that," and stuff like that. In the new show, they made her a little bit more serious, a little bit more dignified, I guess. No nonsense. She doesn't joke around, but she's also very forceful, and she will call out Scrooge or anyone else when they do something stupid. The character I was most worried about, though, was Launchpad, although they seem to have pretty much nailed the character, as far as I can tell. Although, something about the new Launchpad doesn't feel right. It's not that he's bad or anything, but watch some old episodes of DuckTales with Launchpad in it. I think the original Launchpad had a little bit more personality than the new one. I feel like it's something that'll probably improve over time, but it did feel like a little something was missing. And like I said, they have Donald involved now, which again was something really missing from the original show. And I like that he's actually moved into the mansion now, so he's going to be tagging along on all of their crazy adventures. One thing that I really liked is how much they played up what a loving parent Donald is, and how much he really loves his nephews and he worries about them and everything. It was a really cute scene where he was with some hired mercenaries for part of the plot of the movie, and he was trying to show them all the pictures of them in his wallet, and I thought it was really cute. But of course, we have to talk about Scrooge's voice actor. Now, the late, great Alan Young has been playing Uncle Scrooge for a very long time. He played him in Disney's A Christmas Carol, he played him in DuckTales, of course, he played him in the movie, The Treasure of the Lost Lamp, and he also played him in the DuckTales remastered video game that came out a couple of years ago. But sadly, he passed away, and I'm sure casting him was a bit difficult, but I think they found the perfect replacement for him. The Doctor, David Tennant, who actually is Scottish, which is a plus, and I think he does the character justice. So far, they've only shown the TV movie, which I think is first 2 or 3 episodes. I think it's 3 episodes. And I loved that they referenced so many things in the premiere. Not just of DuckTales, because they referenced the first episode of the first, rather, adventure of the original DuckTales when they went after the City of Gold. They also referenced Treasure of the Lost Lamp, because there was a lamp in Scrooge's house, which, by the way, is one of the most underrated Disney movies, in my opinion. They also referenced a bunch of stuff from other Disney afternoon cartoons. There was a character that showed up briefly that looked kind of like Roxanne from Goof Troop, and they also referenced places that were part of other Disney afternoon shows, like they referenced Cape Suzette, which is Tailspin, and I would absolutely love to see the Tailspin crew show up in this show, because Tailspin's my favorite. And supposedly we're going to see a lot of other characters show up. We know Gizmo Duck has been confirmed. I believe I've been hearing some pretty credible sources saying that Darkwing Duck might show up in here, but the fact that they mentioned Tailspin would be really cool if they saw them. Now, the one problem is Tailspin was kind of a period show. It took place, I think it was supposed to be like the 20s or the 30s or something like that, but I don't see any reason why they can't, bring them into the DuckTales world. I think they would fit right in. Now, I do have to mention one more thing. At the end of the premiere, they alluded to something that I'm sure is going to become a huge plot point for the series. And without spoiling anything, it is something that the original DuckTales show never went into. And as soon as they made that reveal, it got me really intrigued, because not only is it something that hasn't been done yet in the DuckTales cartoon, but it also could have given us an idea of why Scrooge and Donald may have had a bad relationship. So far, all we have is the TV special as the premiere, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see new episodes until the end of September, which is a shame, because you know what? I really like this show. I'm absolutely digging it. I would say it's at least as good as the original. I love the story so far. I love the characters. I love all the little improvements they made. I love the look of the show. I don't think the animation is as good as the original, but visually, I think it looks great. And they kept the theme song. And I mean, how could you not keep the theme song? It's iconic. So in conclusion, I think we can safely put DuckTales in that small yet slowly growing category of good reboots, alongside stuff like Voltron Legendary Defender, Thundercats, and Masters of the Universe, and some of the various Transformers and G.I. Joe stuff, and Ninja Turtles, of course, and various other things. So, good job, Disney. But that's all I got for DuckTales. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think of it. My name is Rob, and have a wonderful day.